Hi, my name is Stacie and I am an artist with Seint, and I am going to help you get your Seint makeup set up from start to finish. So when you first get your package to actually applying it, I'm going to do two methods. I'm going to do the cheetah hack method, which is the dot method, dotting it on your face. And then I'm also going to do one where I just use the brush. I think I have a blush and bronzer brush. And then I also have the 3D brush. But I think for this sake, I'm going to use the blush and bronzer brush because I do recommend that brush often for people. The two brushes I do recommend are the 3D and the blush and bronzer. I go back and forth. Sometimes I have a favorite over the other, but it also depends. I feel like the blush bronzer is a lighter application and the 3D brush is more of it's a little bit denser, so it's more of a medium coverage. And then this side you can kind of either apply it or blend your whole face, and then it has a smaller end here, which is really good for like inside the corners of the eyes, and maybe if you want to go down the center of the nose, and then here and here, so for the detail. But honestly, I mean, you can do it with all the brushes. So if I use the blush and bronzer brush, I tend to do the cheetah hack method because it's easier to use my finger, because then I get an idea of how much product I'm putting on my finger for one, and then how much I'm putting it on my face. And I have more control that way than if I were to tap it in with the brush. So when you first get I already kind of put my products in here, and my nails are super long, and I don't want to dig them out and I don't have a tool in front of me to help dig them out. So I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of when you first get your tins. They might be little, but they are mighty. They last a long time. Mine has actually lasted a year, but I don't wear a lot of makeup. So I think the typical is like maybe like 2 to 3 months. And then if you use it part of the time, it's like 4 to 6 months. But for me, like I said, I can keep mine for about a year. So when you first get your product, you want to make sure that you kind of let this sit. You take it out of the packaging and you just let it sit on the counter and just kind of acclimate to the temperature in your home. Because if it's really hot outside, then the makeup has a tendency to kind of melt and get really soft, and then when you go to open it, it can be a mess. So you just want it to kind of, or it can get cold and kind of hard, and then you just want it to kind of acclimate. The nice thing about this makeup is that if it does dry out too much, you can, number one, you can sanitize it by melting it down, or it just kind of freshens it up and makes it like new. So you can put it on your stovetop, like on low heat. Even one of those little candle warmers, you can put it on there and melt the wax, or I'm sorry, not the wax, melt the makeup. Take a toothpick, kind of stir, and maybe get any little hairs or, anything that is accumulated into the tins, and just kind of give it a refresh. The other thing is, if it's dried out, you can also take your hair dryer and just kind of blow it on it for just a few seconds to kind of get it warm and soften up again. The other thing is, when you use your finger, when you put your finger on it, the heat in your finger softens, and then it's easier to apply. And then once it's on your skin, it kind of just melts into your skin, and then it's easy to blend. So this has been sitting at room temperature for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and open this. Now, I have already put all the colors into my palette. This is an 8-quad palette, so it has the 4 colors, cover the mirror here, 4 colors on the top, and then it has the 4 colors across the bottom. So I recommend this one a lot because it's a little bit bigger than the 4-quad. The 4-quad is super tiny, really compact, nice, but it only fits 4 highlights. So the 8-quad kind of gives just a little bit of room to grow. Now I already put my colors in here, so for the sake of just showing you how to put it in, I'm going to use this palette. And I already have a couple of colors in here, but let's say like, well, this one is, okay, sunlit. So I use amber as my main shade, but today I think on half of my face I'm going to use amber, and then on the other half I'm going to use Athens. So right now this is just one of my, this is sunlit. I'm not going to use this color today, but it's really good for under the eye area, kind of canceling out any purple colors. But this one, so what you do is you just kind of take your thumb and your fingers like this, and you just slide like that, and then you just kind of pop it here. I don't want to get my mirror in the way here. You just pop it into your palette, and it's a magnet, so it will stick. So you see, pretty cool, huh? All right, so let's go back to this palette. This is the palette that I'm going to use today. So if I did a color match for you, and let's say, I don't know, we did number 3. And the number 3 has, I think it's amber is the main shade. And then Aura, I believe, is the brightening shade. And then the contour is olive. And then whatever lip and cheek that I suggested for you. This one is Wildflower. It's a newer one. So these are the colors that I'm going to use today. But like I said, I am going to do half amber and the other half with Athens. So if you see me going back and forth between the palettes, that is why. But you are just going to stick with this palette, whatever it is that I color matched you for. And I like to put it in, so I just put in my main shade first because I know that that's going to be the main color that I use. And then the accent brightener is second, and that's going to be the smaller areas. That's going to be here in the forehead, the bridge of the nose, the Cupid's bow, and right at the center of the chin here. And then the contour is going to go here on your forehead, on the sides of your nose, this area right here above your cheekbone, and then around like your jaw area. So if you're younger and you do not have, I'm starting to get the jowls. So I don't like to bring my contour all the way down here because the dark, it just kind of accentuates this part right here. So I bring my contour to right here. And then maybe I will take it and go just a little bit right here on my chin. But if I want to kind of bring this back and make it not quite as obvious, then I will put a little bit of my lighter shade right there. So just something to take note of. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the cheetah hack on this side, and then I'm going to do blending on this side. Now, for me, when I first started doing this makeup, it was so much easier for me to start with the contour because each color goes strategically in a place on your face to all create one cohesive layer. And it can get overwhelming, I know. But once you get used to it, it's like, why hasn't makeup always been this way? We're 3D. We have 3-dimensional faces. So I, just for the ease of it, highly recommend putting on the contour first. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dot it on this side, and then I'm going to use a brush and put it on this side. So, all right, let's get into it here. All right, so I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to take, now if it's dry, again, I will just take my finger and just kind of tap it, or, you know, let it sit for a minute to warm up. And then I am just going to take and put my contour here. And my eyesight is not that great, so I have a mirror at the other side. So if you see me looking above the camera, it's because I'm actually looking in my mirror so that I can see. Then I take, so I have this at the forehead, and then I'm going to take and put it, if you see this bone right here, your cheekbone, I like to put it kind of like right under or on that cheekbone. And then I just kind of bring it down. They say bring it down like to where the corner of your eye is, but my cheeks aren't super full, so sometimes I will bring it over just a little bit more. And you can kind of play with it on your cheek because depending on where you place it, it is going to change, you know, how your cheekbones are accentuated. Okay, so here's some more. And I'm going to put this just right here along my jawline. Now remember I said that I stop like about right there. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, and then it's really good for double chin. Let's put some right there, kind of hide that. And then at the bridge of the nose. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do both sides of my nose because I'm gonna use the same contour color for my entire face. I'm just using a different highlight color on each side so that you can kind of see. So I like to take my ring finger and then just kind of put it like this. The bridge of my nose straight down. Okay. So now that we have our contour in place, it's a little bit easier to kind of decide where we're gonna put our main shade. But real quick, let me go on this side and do my contour. Okay, now I don't wear a lot of makeup, so bear with me. But this side I am going to do, I'm going to dot it on and do, this is my normal main shade amber. So I am going to put amber. I'm going to dot here, here. Now you can use as much little as you want. It's about how much I have. And then I'm just going to put it everywhere that I did not put my contour, but I'm going to avoid this area right here, the bridge of my nose, my chin, because that's where the accent brightener is going to go. So let's see, a little bit under here, here, there. I like to put it around my nose just because I get kind of red there. So I don't know if you can kind of see the dots. Okay, and then this side of my face, I am actually going to try this Athens color. And instead of doing the dot method, I'm just going to blend it on my face and all the areas. So I just kind of tapped in, and then I'm going to kind of stipple. Stipple and kind of circle. I'm just going to use, well, I don't know why I did that, but oh well. Okay. Okay, so here I did the main, this is Athens, and then this one is amber. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and blend amber. This is the main highlight. And then, so you can either take your brush and just kind of stipple it on and rub it in that way, or you can dot it on and then blend. And if you wanna do it that way, you can always either take, I have the Seint setting spray. I also have a Charlotte Tilbury that you can either, once you have the dots all on your face, then you can spray your face, spray the brush, and blend it that way. Or you can wait to the very end. You can use a perfector sponge. But before I blend this side, I am gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go in with my accent highlight and kind of show you what I do with that. So the accent highlight is gonna go at the inner corner, the outer corner of the eye, there at the chin, here in the middle of the forehead, and I can do another there because, so the contour is gonna go here, 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 the bridge of the nose, and then the main shade is gonna go on the cheeks here, around here, here, and then the brightener accent is gonna go in the middle lower forehead right here, the bridge of the nose, on the Cupid's bow, and the chin area, like that. And then we can do the lip and cheek. You can even put the lip and cheek on now if you want. You can go, okay, so this is gonna go here. This is kind of a light color. It's called Wildflower. Normally I like to use Summer Love. So I'm going to put my brightening here, here, and there. Okay. So I don't know if you can kind of see. This side I kind of started to blend. I used the brush to blend the main shade. This side I have not blended yet. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take and blend. And I think you don't have to, but I want to try doing it with setting spray. So how about I just do setting spray on this side? I won't even do it on this side. Okay, so then I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to start stippling. I'm going to start with the lightest first, which is here at the chin. And just start blending. Go up under the eye in the inner corner. And then just kind of stipple and blend. Stipple and blend. I know it seems crazy to go all these different colors with one brush, but it just, honestly, it works. I used to worry about it and kind of clean it off in between, but now I don't even bother. I just try to start with the lightest to the darkest and do it that way. Now, when you get to the contour, you want to take the contour and you want to go in an upward motion. You do not want to drag it down, you want to drag it upward. And if you don't feel like it's light, like if it's too light and you don't feel like it's showing up, you can always go back in later and add more. But right now we're just blending. Don't forget your neck and your jawline. You don't want to leave the house like that. And if you don't feel like you have enough coverage somewhere, you just have to go, you just go in and pick up a little bit more of that color. So my main highlight over here, I used Athens. Okay, so now I kind of left my nose for last because we just want to kind of go in and soften. So we just want to soften, gently blend. The other thing that you can do is you can use a beauty blender, and a lot of people will take their beauty, this is a damp beauty blender. You can also spray it with your setting spray or not, but a lot of people will take and blend all of their makeup out with the beauty blender. I personally like to do it with a brush, and then I go back in at the end and just kind of get on any excess. So a lot of times people will take their beauty blender and just kind of blend out the harsh line of the nose contour. Because you don't want it to be gone, but you want it to be softened. And then I like to go in and pick up anything that's under my eye a little bit. Okay, so I kind of feel like, I don't know, I could use a little bit more contour. So I'm gonna go back in with my contour here. The other brush that I highly recommend, and you don't have to, you can use your blush bronzer brush, but the detail brush is really good for contour. So this side I'm gonna use the detail brush because it's super cool for the contour. So you just kind of tap it in, high there. You can kind of see. And then you bring it up to the top here. And just kind of blend those two together. All right, and then on this side, I'm gonna just use my blush and bronzer brush. Go in an upward motion, bring it up, and just kind of blend those two together. And then fix my eyebrows a little. The other thing you can do is with your contour, you can go in and you can shape your eyebrows, which is really cool. So here, I'm just gonna go mark it. Here, I'm gonna mark. Mark it there, mark it there. And then you wanna do the outer corner. And then This is the eyebrow. And I just... You do not want too long of a tail because it will drag your eye down. So you just want to kind of have just a small enough tail there. Now, I had my eyebrows microbladed a year ago, but I think I'm going to go to a different girl, and so I'm just kind of letting them grow out a little bit, heal, before I go get those done. Then I'm just going to take my spoolie and just blend out any harsh lines. Get my eyebrows in place. And let's see, put on some, this is a really light color, Wildflower. But you can always go in and add other colors on top of it. Like here, this is Summer Love. I got this a little bit too. Summer Love is my favorite. So. And then if you want just like a little bit more blush even, you just kind of tap in there and just add some more blush. And then the other thing, so I go through and I do the beauty blender and I get the excess makeup. And then what I like to do is Coty Airspun is a really good powder. Also, I found these off of Amazon, little powder. And we have the Vanilla Dust, which is just like a little pressed powder right here. And I just like to take and tap into that. And then just kind of go in my T-zone. And then my hair is a mess. There we go. I don't have really a whole lot of eye makeup on, and I have no idea if it's blended right or not, but that's just the basics. And if you have any questions, ask me. I will be happy to answer any questions.